Hello, hello, hello! Welcome and well met! Welcome to the stream! We're starting this week off with more The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're on episodes 4 still, for a while, because we're getting to longer. Longer episodes. The episodes are getting longer. We're at the last 2 episodes for the adventures part of Chronicles, because Chronicles is made up of 2 games. Adventures and Resolve. So we are still in the adventures part, but we're near the end of it. Got this case and 1 more case left. Okay, let me jump into it. Okay, the reason why I'm on the transcript is because when I took my switch out of the dock, it kind of oh, I smacked that. Okay. I bumped into the cord again. It's actually frozen, not that you can tell. Okay, are we good now? Yeah, we're good now. I cannot move. I will hit the cord. I'm so scared. But if I move my foot anywhere else, I'll be stepping on my cat sleeping on a pillow beneath me. Hashtag VTuber problems? It's just cords, but kitty. But cords. Anyway, when I took it out of the dock, I must have tapped the screen and I think it went to other dialogue because I wanted to stop on the little bit that says what the witnesses saw. So I accidentally went to a couple of dialogues, so apologies for that. That's my bad. Sorry for not leaving off perfectly where I left off. But besides replaying, I don't even know how much. I was just like, it's just probably easier just to pull up the history. Okay. Now, that little omniscient? I can't think if I have to say that word right now. Whoa, well, moving on. Okay, so we have Pertitia? No, it's not Pertitia. I have problems reading the names. I'm getting it mixed up with another similar sounding name, and that's not helping. There's no R's in here. There's not gonna be an R sound. I think it's Trisha. I think is how it's supposed to be pronounced. But anyway, okay. What voice am I? Here, let me. This is what she looks like. I should probably show what she looks like. Oh, really? Cutesy voice. Why am I coughing now? Hold on. I need to go. I forgot to grab my water bottle. I knew I was forgetting something. Okay, just give me a couple of seconds, and I will also get a drinkies, because apparently my throat decided to be dry. Just like, oh, you've been fine for hours, but now that you started streaming, we're gonna cough, because life is lovely like that. I also just realized I probably backed into the... Oh no, I didn't. Okay, we're still good on this at least. Alright. Ooh, don't knock my controller off. That would be ideal. Alright, so sweet, cute voice for Tisha. Or Trisha. I'm never gonna say her name the same way twice in a row, am I? I'm gonna call her Patty. I give up. Anyway, let's see. It was our wedding anniversary, and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, 2 silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Another one scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, and then went for help at the nearby police box. It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I both saw him clear as day. Really? Clear as day? It was really foggy and dark. I highly doubt that's clear as day. Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say. Oop. Oh dear. This policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Natsume at the scene. I don't know how they did that. Oh wait, if their testimony is true, then the alternative course of events that you establish in the summation examination will be quashed. Hello, Vansix. Okay, I need a proper drink of water if I'm gonna do this man's voice. Why am I looking this way? My teacup is gone, but meh. I haven't been really using my teacup so y'all can actually see it. And I like showing off my teacup. I am proud of this teacup. It is my favorite teacup. Favorite teacup. Okay, what am I trying to do? I don't know where my brain is going, but I'm like, I feel like I need to grab something. And I'm like, no, I don't. My brain's being weird today. Alright, am I out of the way? Okay, a little bit more. Alright, I'm out of the way. Okay, Van Zeke's voice. Let's go. It's death, Neil, in fact. Because that alternative was never viable in the first place. But an unfortunate rechancy. And on your wedding anniversary, too. Oh, hello, Margaret. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I know! I still managed to go out for the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that. Gosh, the life of a London bobby sounds very hard indeed. Indeed. However, cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have the time to rest this afternoon. What do you mean by that? My learned friend. Witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. Testifying under oath, it was without doubt the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less. So you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure. Oh dear. Except that the man is so tired, his wife has to do all the talking. Inosuke's like, I have several concerns held out. Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense, commence the cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. Press on all the questions. Witnesses. Okay. Let's see. Wedding anniversary, no time to change. I suppose... I think that stuck out too much to me. Besides, obviously... Oh, hello, Grandma's! Welcome, welcome. Besides, like, how did you even see to begin with? But I think I'll just press everything... Hold it! First. No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the police, Miss Beat? Oh no, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply. I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you? I think Raleigh looks ever so handsome in his uniform. It suits you down the ground, doesn't it, darling? That's so rude. What? Ah, I just finished my beat. Pat and I were heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there. Is he talking in his sleep? This is creepy. Yeah, I've heard people sleep talk before. It is slightly concerning when it happens. And they're like, I don't remember this at all. And I'm like, okay. Well, I just had a conversation, like a 5-minute long conversation with you, and you were wholly asleep. That's not concerning in the least. Oh no, Rolly. I much prefer you in uniform. Sometimes, I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy. Mainly adhere to the point. You're going for a meal after you finish your beat for the day, correct? That's right, Sa. Yes, although I was fit to drop, to be honest. After spending the whole day on my feet. But policing is my life, Sa. As long as I am the proud owner of this, I'll serve my city and my queen to the end. What's that now? An warrant card, Sa. Proof that I'm a London copper. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it, as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. Sa, and for such a noble cause, I cover 20 miles every single day without fail and without a grumble. Because I know, the plodding of my boots is all the Londoners need to hear to feel safe and secure. So, fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it then. But Sa, just on the one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. Would it show my dear wife how much I care? They're really cute. Oh my gosh. They have sparkly eyes. They really remind me of like tiny adorable figures from a cuckoo clock. Certain cuckoo clocks, not like all cuckoo clocks. I'm not reading that. Oh, what a charming couple! The young love is such a joy to behold. This is autofocus. This is autofocus. It would not surprise me if a young lady here likes reading romance novels. If a little over the top, perhaps. And then, kindly describe what happened next. You're just so sweet, my teeth hurt. Yeah, pretty much. Wait. Hold on. Oh. I'm surprised we didn't get that clearly we're gonna get the police book in the inventory, because it has a picture. I'm surprised we didn't get it. You think Ryunosuke would be like, can I see that? Alright. Hold it! Let's keep going along here. 2 silhouettes. That's right! They were coming towards us, walking up the Briar Road in the opposite direction. There's a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. That's not exactly like the victim as pictured in this print, and like Mr. Natsume. He's... he seems blocky to me, not... what did she say? Let's see. Scrawny, thin-looking man. How is Mr. Natsume scrawny and thin-looking? He's like stout. I mean, maybe he's a bit taller than I probably imagine him, but like, he's pretty, you know, like, if I were to do shape language, he'd be like rectangles. Scrawny and thin-looking. Alright. Well, moving on. Not gonna be able to change that dialogue. Yes, unfortunately, it does. And you're certain at the time there was nobody else nearby? Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark. There were streetlamps on Briar Road, you see. There's nobody else around at all. Isn't that right, my darling? Well, besides you two, apparently. What? Yes, that's right, of course. There was a light fog on the ground. The Briar Road is dead straight, and you could see fairly long way down the pavement. And there's the street lighting as well. I didn't see any other pedestrians. Back to sleep. Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer, please, Mr. Beat. Are you quite sure of what you've just said? Yes, sir. Copper who spends all day, every day, keeping watch on the streets. I swear to it, sir. I'm sure, as my love for Patricia is true. And they're being cuddly again. You're still maintaining there was no one else around. Other than the victim and the attacker. It seemed like that must be how it really happened. It's beginning to seem like there was nowhere to run. Well, I didn't thought Mr. Natsume did it. He fled the scene all too convincingly. Thank you. I believe we have a reasonable, clear idea of the situation just before the incident now. What happened in the crucial moments that followed? Sad shiny eyes. She's like a kitten. Okay.
Hold it!
More info. Stuttered something. What do you mean by that? Oh, well, I couldn't quite make out what it was at the time. But then when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling? Yank. What? Ah, yes, that's right. Some old books. I see. Old books. And he's asleep again. Oh, he's awake again. Yes, sir. The culprit had dropped a number of them, all around where the victim lay on the pavement. Indeed. It's clearly pictured in this photographic print. That rotten Japanese man did what... That rotten Japanese man did that when he did the deed.
Hold it!
Ooh. Let's not forget that it remains to be established that the defendant was indeed the attacker. Any info about the construction hole? I think we're past that detail at the moment. It's not relevant right now. But we saw him. He's the man of the dock without question, sir. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the taut mouth, the stub nose. Everything. Okay, Rolly's description is much more accurate. Any more insults you want to throw in? That's right! You looked down at that poor, defenseless woman with those terrifying, intense eyes. And then suddenly threw his books into the pavement and ran away. I see. This is tough. It seems as though they're telling the truth here. I remind the court that this unambiguous testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. Now please, continue. Yes, sir! Off he goes. Oh gosh, how many times does he, like, wake up from falling asleep? That's gonna be a rather high number, isn't it?
Hold it!
Was it your husband who went to fetch help? No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am the proud wife of one after all. Isn't that right, my darling? Jeez. What? Ah, yes, that's right. I asked Mrs. Beat to go. I was off duty by that point, but a Bobby's never truly off duty, of course. So I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene. Very honorable, Mr. Beat. Preserving the scene of a crime is a task of considerable importance. That's why I sent Patricia, you see. I told her where to find the right police box. Forgive my ignorance. What do you mean exactly by the right police box? Depends on a crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. So I told Patricia the way to the police box for the beat. The incident fell under so she could go and report it. Off he goes. I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know. And thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions... 2 model citizens. Are you allergic to mentioning love antiques? Oh, please. You're making us blush. Isn't he, darling? Yank. How many times is she gonna do that? Sa, what Patricia said, sa. Off he goes. Back to Dreamland. Let's move on. Shall we? Ryunosuke, so... The amount of times he's done his concerned face is kind of funny.
Hold it!
But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lamps, would you? Oh gosh, he's mad. We absolutely could. The Slenderers have exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know. Oh my gosh, stop yanking on your husband! Right. Light from the street lamps was more than enough. And my husband already told you that the fog was only light, didn't he? Yes. What of the fog? We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. It's an absolute menace to those of us who have to live with it, of course. Oh, it is! It is! It is thick, you can't even see the hand at the end of your own arm. Yes, alright, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband about? That's what I was saying! Oh. You may not be able- you can't tell this from this position, but there's only one scarf. It's just that long. They're connected by a very long scarf. So it's the same scarf wrapping the 2 of them up. When it pans out, and you can see the back of those defendants, which I think it might do a time or 2, I'm not entirely sure. But if you're able to see more of their full models, you can see that the scarf is just looped between them. I don't know when it shows that, but I know it does because I have the memory of it, and that's how I know this, but it's actually just one scarf. They're tied together. It's like the red string of fate or something. I need to periodically take sips of water or else my throat's gonna get mad at me again because it's like decided, oh, you're talking. I don't want to talk. Always lovely when that happens. It's kind of annoying. I don't like it when my throat decides to be all scritchy scratchy. When I start streaming, I'm like, really? I could have done something if you decided beforehand, but no, I hit on and it's like, nope, I don't like this. Ain't life like that. Anyway. The constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can tell you for sure and certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Are you sure he's little? I mean, he's rather squat looking, but I mean, he seems of average height at least. I don't know. I mean, Natsume to stand by some people. What are your proportions? Can't we, darling? Yank. What? Ah, yes. He was no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback. Okay, he's going down the list again. As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was Soseki-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime. So, that's it, is it? It's their entire testimony. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I hate to admit it. On hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. B saw what they say they saw. Mr. Natsume running away from the scene on Bara Road that day. Yes, I feel the same. Oh, if that's true, where does that leave us? The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony. Oh no. What do we do? Kazuma-sama, we're here. What are you trying to say? I think you would try to find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony. What do you mean somewhere else? Their statement about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. You can identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the facts. You might be able to discredit them, to make the jury doubt if the pair's memory of that day is accurate. Oh, right. Put simply, let's focus on finding a discrepancy in these statements somewhere. Wait down. I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion. Why do I always seem to be so up against it? Okay. Mr. Lawyer, sir. Can I ask you something? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything. We've told you so. It seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right? Is it? Well, out with it! Oh dear. What? No. Oh no, it's really not that at all. How's this a policeman? Remember. I know what I saw. I remember every last detail. Everything. Like... Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell you the names of every single one I could. Every single one. And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is. Will do, Miss B. No, it won't do at all. The Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Why do I get the feeling if Portisha was allowed to be a cop, she'd be really terrifying. In the sense that she'd be able to do everything and have, like, energy to spare. Anyone else getting that feeling? Like, this woman has way too much energy. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, I don't think for a minute that Rolly will. I really didn't mean to cause offense. Please, put your husband's fist down. Perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Mrs. B. Might that appease you? Oh, thank you, my lord. That would settle things nicely. I thought he was gonna fall over. Wouldn't it, darling? No, Broly is out. I could even tell you the names of the 4 books he dropped at the scene. Okay.
Hold it!
What were the books? Yes, we know that there were books dropped at the scene of the crime, as you say. Oh wait. Don't I have the list of the books? Yeah, this one. The picture of Monsieur Lecole. Lecole? I think it's Lecole? I don't think you pronounced the Q at the end. That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's clearly French. It's using Monsieur. Emile for Gabor Rio and Canterbury Learnings. Okay, so that's the books. Let's see if she says them correctly. Okay. It was purchased by the accused at the nearby second-hand bookshop on the day in question. The women in this game all have the brain cells. They'd be terrifying for the guys. I mean, even 10-year-old Iris is that way. Wait, do I have the court record of her in this? Yeah, I do. There she is. Yeah. Iris is pretty scary. Actually, yeah, like, pretty much all the ladies. Oh, I have... Hello, Harlock! Yeah. Got everyone. Her picture's adorable. Okay. After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over the area for good measure. I'm a proud policeman's wife after all. I did it for Rolly. What was your husband doing at the time? Oh, he was lying face down in the snow. Needs some well-deserved rest. Works ever so hard, you know. Ever so hard. Don't you, my darling? Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime. Miss B, seeing as you've regaled the court with tales of your powers of recollection, would you be so kind as to recount the titles of the books you observed at the scene? I'd be happy to. Now, are you all listening? Leave it. There was the pictures of Monsieur somebody or other, and what's it your names? And then there was a meal for someone. The last one definitely the thingamaman something. Wait, isn't that 4? Yeah, she said 2 there, and she said 2 here. There's 4 books? Also, that it doesn't... Hold on. Yeah, I think... She mentioned the Yearnings one, the Canterbury Yearnings, and the meal for Caburio, and a picture of Monsieur Lecour. Right? Yeah. Picture of Monsieur Lecour, the Canterbury Yearnings, a meal for Ganbero, even though she's missing the name. She's missing the names of the people and places. But she remembers, like, what is that? Adjectives? Nouns? She's clearly not good with names. You see? No, I don't see. Yes, I can see there are 1 or 2 holes in your memory. Oh, well, they were along those lines. I'm quite sure. There are indeed books found at the scene with titles along those lines, as you put it. Well, what did I tell you? So I think it's very mean the way you've been implying that my testimony can't be trusted. Don't you agree, darling? Oh god. Anyone who upsets my Patricia will have me to answer to. He has a gun! Oh my goodness, don't terrifying. Yes, she really is. Well, that's it, is it? Okay, wait. I think this is just rehashed. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I've already seen this. Okay. Yeah. It's all very nice. Why does it make you go through this? Okay. Not around that. So I think... Names of the 4 books he dropped in the scene. Oh, you didn't have to... Okay. I wasn't paying attention to the number. I'm just gonna give this a save, just because. I'm going to... Ah, I almost clacked my teeth together! Oh, that's always really uncomfortable when I do that. Either it's the receipt, or it's the picture. Because you can see the book. Maybe it's both. I know actually this game you can show 2... You can show more than 1 evidence, or it's just... You need to show 1 of 2 evidence, and it'll still count, which is nice. I remember that being a problem in some of the earlier titles. It's just like, I could show this and bring the same point. So that's nice. I'm gonna do this one, because it has the titles listed, so...
Objection!
There we go. So, you're saying that there were 4 books? That's right, I remember all of them. The picture of Monsieur somebody, what's its yearnings, a meal for someone, and the thingamamies. Thingamagummies. Something. I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat. There is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Oh no! What flaw? Simply that, the scene of the crime, only 3 books, not 4. What? This is the receipt from the bookshop, where the defendant bought his books. Your books? Yes, and it details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day. As you can see, only 3 books are listed. Only 3? But no, that can't be. I'm receiving them. There were 4 books, I tell you. 4 dirty old books. Oh, really? But look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see from this evidence as well, there are only 3 books. But I just don't believe it. I saw them there, I swear it. I saw them. No, madame. But your powers of observation cannot be relied upon. So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken. Oh no. No. Oh. Oh, there we go. See?
Objection!
Oh, hi, Van Cheeks. I'm gonna have to pause at that moment. But yeah, it's 1 scarf. He seems less than pleased. It's plainly evident. It is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. The fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. So you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would that be fair? Ugh, he sees right through me. Your plan has somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. The policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony. In every respect. Oh! You see, the matter is not up for debate. Seen on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
Objection!
But what about the photograph print? It only shows 3 books. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print. That print? You mean to say... Oh, goodbye! Allow me to present another. That shows the victim's hand. Oh, that one's burnt. I don't believe it. It's the 4th book. I have no idea who was talking then. As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No. No! Oh dear. Order! There, you see? You see? Look at that. Look. Yes. It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling? Yes, sir. Shosari is right, sir. Let's study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. Beat. The titles once again, if you please. Oh yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other. The picture of Monsieur Lecour. What's its yearnings? Canterbury learning. Yeah. Canterbury yearnings. I was thinking. A meal for someone. A meal for Gabriel, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. Beat's powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional. Did you hear that, Roly? The gentleman paid me a compliment. Yes, sir. Flawless, sir. Patricia's flawless. But there are only 3 books on the receipt. Mrs. Beat mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is which is shown in this photographic print. I'm sorry, Counsel, but it does not seem odd. Should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? Not at all, my lord. As the photograph clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim is holding her own book. I wonder, what came with that 4th book? Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here, as evidence. I want to look. Gimme, gimme, gimme. You will submit that and the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, Counsel. My pleasure, my lord. Update. Gimme more evidence. I want to look at the book. Okay. The prosecution rests. Ignoring the rest. Let's see. So greedy for evidence? Hey, I gotta look at things. Yeah, the Lion's Pride. Wait, haven't we heard that title before? At Mr. Garideb? Right, Mr. Garideb! He said that he lost his favorite book, The Lion's Pride. And it's burnt. And there was a fire in their residence. Well, that's a thing. Yeah. See the crime. It's so burnt. Oh my gosh. That is, well, part of it's still legible. I mean, you could still read most of it, but that's, that's pretty bad. Okay, let me switch it over. Blocking Naruhodo. Oh, look at this. The book's been badly burnt. You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state. Especially not the latter pages. What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. Isn't the Mrs. Garideb on the jury? She is. A book recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me? I know! The back cover is badly burnt, yeah. Oop, it's a kitty. I don't think there's anything else besides, like, hey, it's the title. It's an old book, that's for sure. Well, old book in the sense of a well-loved book. The edges are all worn. Okay. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. Your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes. Futile. Wait, surplus? Surrealist? What? Okay. I don't know how to pronounce that word. The longer route to the accused's lodging that you tried to establish in your sumnation examination, and the attempt of discrediting the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile. I walked right into this, didn't I? You see? Everything we said is true. Isn't that right, my darling? Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat. You're already married. So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions. Will the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? I don't think I read that last line properly. What was that? So Would the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? All the jurors go. You have heard all the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. The trial has run its course. So Naruhodo, I'm afraid we're in a terribly precautious position. I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, it could very well just make matters worse. Think, Ryunosuke, think. What do you do now? I honestly have no idea. I mean, there really isn't anything to object to. Besides that book seems to be part of Mr. Garidub's possession, but I have no idea. I mean, I guess I could. Be like that book actually belongs to another. I suppose I could try that. I guess try.
Objection!
Well, I'm not done yet. No, learn, friend. It's over. The last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense. And you failed. The die has been cast. There's no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Your insignificant little eastern isle may be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhodo. One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So the court will hear you, madame. Go ahead, Mr. Zato. Please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, only after the last cross-examination finished. Is there a name inside the book? I know, that's what I would look for, but I don't think it allows me to open it up. Let me double check. Because it would be... It just have a click probably on the cover here, not like, this is them gonna talk about the name. I think the only thing to look at really was that it's burnt to a crisp. I see. And you believe this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So you must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Already did that! I ignored Van Zeeks to do so. Always a pleasure to do that. I'm like, that's nice, Van Zeeks. I'm gonna look at this stuff. Yes. Yes, I understand, and thank you, Miss Susato. This is it. Susato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Defense is like, what are you talking about? Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into the case that has hitherto been overlooked. The book. At least that's what I'm going with. We also did update the thing already.
Take that!
So it should work. Evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book, found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We've already discussed the fourth book at length. And then it belongs in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident. No significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know. Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist you elaborate, consul. You will identify this clue at once. I'll make myself clear. Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Sir Naruhodo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Which means you very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right. So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case which this fourth book conceals? The back. Right there.
Got it!
Oh gosh. I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burned to a crisp. So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It's undeniable, an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh! Were I to concede the point that there's no relation to the case, there's nothing to discuss. So, if you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day, pray, enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? A charred book? There's just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage the sorry tome has suffered? The shop sold it. Its owner, its content. Would be its owner. Wait, do I even have Garideb in my, people? Oh yeah, I do. Okay, he's right there. I'm like, I should check that first. Yeah, but its owner. My lord, the burn on the back of the book reveals a startling truth. About the book's owner. I beg your pardon, but we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor, after all. It's obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, As to the questions of who the book really belongs to, where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly? Very well. I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. Do remember, members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry. Counsel, the defense response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. Oh. I feel like I should save again. If I royally mess up, it's easier to load a save. Oh, it's, hurried up. Oh.
Take that!
Like, we're getting the end of the case kind of stuff. The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garideb. I don't think we've gotten that animation from Ms. Van Zeeks before. He's like, e-gags. A landlord's. Whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today, none other than Mrs. Garideb herself. Oh my goodness, me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garideb's wife. I'm his maid. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garideb's house? I would never presume to know all the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused's landlady, you say? You implicate this hardworking member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
No, I heard it doesn't care. This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garideb's house. Good lord! What sort of incident, counsel? A fire, my lord. Ooh, the music picked up. Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite. A book called The Lion's Pride. Van Zeeks. The Lion's Pride. Your lack of fashion sense is also unbelievable. Your lack of fashion sense is also unbelievable. This is fancy. By Jove! The very same title that's subject of this debate. Oh dear me.
Objection!
This is... What word are you saying? Van Zeek, stop saying words I don't know. Or at least haven't heard very much, so I know how they're written. That's the thing, some words I've heard them before, but I've never seen them really written, and then I'm like, what is this word? Resensible? Reseatable? Gosh darn it. I love this game, but they use at times, words that would be more used in this time. They definitely don't speak it. I have read newspapers with, that were probably, not probably perfectly written how people spoke back in the day, but I imagine it was much closer. Reasonable? Triceable? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It does not help that I know there's like a bazillion ways to pronounce things. Ah, okay. Well, I'll try. This is yeah. Reasonable. This is reasonable. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. Entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garita was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garita, even amid the flames. Oh, how awful! You can imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly? So lately not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me. So I put an R in there. Well, there is an R in there. I said there wasn't earlier. No, there is. I'm blind. Patricia. There's no R in the front. Patricia. There. There's too many names like this. Ah. You. Flashback? Yeah, flashback. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. As soon as the file got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. And the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Inciner. Okay, now I can't pronounce. I'm just tripping out my words at this point. Incendiary. Books coming 10 to the dozen. He was getting flame books on fire. And I was back against the window. He had burning books thrown at him. Good gracious! Are you suggesting? The book was thrown through the window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
No. Thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident. There was no report of the Garideb's window pane being broken. It's quite true. I also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garideb household. It is not conceivable that the window was open at the time in... Not even remotely. Let's not forget the season. The chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Does the defense postulate the scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garideb's wife? I believe it is a possibility, my lord. Chatter. It's quite enough. Ooh. Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. I mean a coward. Really? Maybe that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight, honestly. I find that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. And all you've done is sully our family's name. No, I assure you, that was never my intention. Dragging up an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears. That's what I should do. It's unforgivable. It's utterly unforgivable. It's utterly unforgivable. So she smacked that other dude. To right. Here we go. How long have we sat here now, listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fanciful foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with a mustache. And he ran away from the scene, too. I do declare you're right. It's true. Yes. What did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Sorry. What's that? It's the old man. Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks? In truth, my lord, I feel these have not been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. Then, we must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait. The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't... Okay. Axe kick. Van Zeeks, put your feet down. This still makes me laugh every time he does it. Also, Mans is flexible. Mans is pretty flexible. Because he not just keeps his leg up like that without apparently discomfort, but he is also able to lift his leg higher than that. I'm like, man can kick you in the face. Don't take off Van Zeeks. I think he's probably he's got the strength and finesse behind him. He probably can kick your butt. He strikes me as the brain and bronze. No wait, brawn, not bronze. That's a metal. Brain and brawn type. Okay. If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. Discount vampire silly. He's very silly. Everyone's quiet now. What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time. Van Zeeks is just fed up. Ahem. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty!
You?
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Going through this
Guilty.
again.
Guilty.
And all the fire goes on. And there it goes again. Thank you for that unambiguous response. It's twice now. It's over. Naruhodo, don't give up. Miss Susato, you've forgotten. Battle isn't over yet. Or you're not suggesting. Of course. The defense has the right to another sub-nation examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance. My lord, the defense asks to exercise its right to a sub-nation examination. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve. Don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. There's no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, you have to stay strong and determined. Go, Ryunosuke, go! Oh, got to be continued. Well, it's only been an hour, so I'm gonna be continuing on. I will get a drink, however. Drink case. Yeah, sure. I've been saving this whole time, but I'll save again. Why not? If a game asks me to save, I'm probably gonna say yes. That's just how I am. Alright. Ah, okay. I have considered the defense counselor's request for further sub-nation examination of the jury. I have determined that the court must uphold the defendant's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, will now proceed with your second subnation examination. Presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman. We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. Judicial testimony. The juror's contentions. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. But if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Dearie me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening even with a direct hit. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. To think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. Gave me the sneezes. Thank you, old man. Yes. Considerably more tangible arguments from all the members of the jury this time around, it seems. One notable exception, of course. A learned student friend was unable to find faults in the previous witness's testimony. The court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. Moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, the eyewitnesses are correct. It seems as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. Fail to see how it can be argued any other way. That means, I'm afraid, that during the subnation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But, what would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? You stabbed the woman, and how? These 2 details are all you need to provide. You can give us a name and a method in which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard. He's so sarcastic. Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise this really will be the trial... otherwise this really will be where the trial ends. No pressure, that. That's quite enough, preamble. Proceed with the subnation examination, please. Presume you are prepared, counsel. Oh, yes, my lord. Right, Ryunosuke. Focus your mind now. Did it twice. Really, the key to the subnation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Mrs. Garideb? We have a book that disappeared from the Garideb's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the 2. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I learned in my short career so far, wherever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garideb and how she reacts, even to things other people say. We're gonna use, what is it called? The pursue mechanic? Oh. Hi. Partitia. Earlier over there. And it's rebuttal. Okay. I actually want to go check the old man, because he mentions the fire, and there's the one with the window. Well, actually, I could go press the guy who talks to the window. It was you, right? Yeah. Okay, I get the feeling I want to talk to the old man first. Let's just talk to the old man first. Hi.
Hold it!
Trisha. Thank you. There's so many things and I just have a really hard time. Yawn. Okay. Wait. Did he say something? Okay, no, he just pressed. Does that have anything to do with your decision of the defendant's culpability in this case? Sorry. What's that? You'll have to speak up, lad. Ryunosuke's like, why? Could you tell us more about that fire? It was last winter. Grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. Now I want cake. We interrupt this program for want of cake. Anyway. What a sight to behold it was. You put candles on a cake. Was it some kind of devil worship? Of course not. It was an angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously. It seems that a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Oh wait. It seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. Flames didn't go out, but the candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke. That certainly sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. How did you catch a cold from a fire? What a fiasco it was. Grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it. The windows? Fighting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave it did. Got a terrible cold from it. In the hospital for a while. Won't forget that birthday in a hurry. I knew it was devil worship all along. Something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. To demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could attack the young woman on the street. As well as he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. None of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation. Yes, you don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions. Just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. But he sends out. I'll go in for a strike. That's the spirit. Okay. Yes. That is the hint for just... Yeah, you're talking about the window and the old man. And we just could smoke. So the chills get you. Well, his things changed now, so I guess I had to do that? Okay, whatever.
Objection!
These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. They do. I'll exactly console. Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me. What's that you say? Speak up, lads. Speak up. Juror number 3. Do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? He's so confident! Ryunosuke's doing his confident pose. I love saying this. You don't get to see it often. You make things difficult, kitty, when you sleep on the pillow underneath. It's just kitty cat. Want to touch. She's so soft. I'm like, my foot's falling asleep because of how I gotta sit. Okay, I gotta move. Okay. It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Oh, well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, the room was filled with smoke from a fire. You'd be mad not to open the... He's connecting the dots. Oh, Exactly. Ryunosuke is a good boy. Ryunosuke is a very good boy. Or man. I still don't remember his age right now. On the day in question, time of the incident, the fire in the Garideb household. Mr. Garideb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
Oh. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of... She's just chugging down the tea.
Excuse me.
Rule number 4. Do you have something to say about that? Mrs. Garideb. Oh, dearie me. What's the meaning of this? Don't you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. But what is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpets and bookcase caught fire, as they did. Situation like that, it's inconceivable you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy, since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire. Oh, you never stopped throwing until the anger subsides. It'd be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, I should have realized. Seriously, all the women in this game are something to be reckoned with. My goodness. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garideb's formal statement. Now you mention it, yes. The window was open at the time. I've clean forgotten, but it's true. Whoops. I don't think they're gonna be of help. I have no explanation how the victim was stabbed. Wait, maybe I should. Let's check. Oh, I should move over. Okay, that should be far enough. If I do hit this, will you open it? Let me see. It's a book entitled The Lion's Pride. I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all. Or would it be something I've heard? Wait a minute. The Lion's Pride? Strange. I think I have heard of a book by that name before. And very recently, too. Its title I recognize too, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, they're just talking about the title. Can I open this? Is there really no other... With a knife here. Oh. Nope, and that just closes it. Okay. Huh. It doesn't have any lit up points, so nothing more for there. Ooh, okay. Okay, I might just have to ask people about things. Yeah. Maybe if I talk to her about this, maybe Miss Garideb will respond.
Hold it!
That is the thing. So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such a light on your face. But I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I'm a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman. That's great. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? You see? Modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking. What did you say? And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite one or two minor puzzlements, I do declare the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say? This woman is a treat. She's so silly. Overwhelmingly. But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one. I'd be happy to do that too, if only I could. Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern metropolitan young lady. No scratching my desk! Sorry, that was my cat. I can't help but laugh now. I just hear one tiny scratch and I'm just absolutely not. The little ragamuffin. Anyway. Right. Had you omitted rational there? Okay. Oop. Window could have been open when the screen looks. I mean, it's definitely possible. Oh, wait. Should I put these two together? Okay. I guess I need to do this. Again? Oh, wrong button.
Objection!
There we go. Oh, I don't think that
All
worked.
right.
Yeah. That didn't work. Okay. I'm just gonna skip through this. Alright, so that already counts, even though their statements are still up. Yeah, I know. Okay, I was just wondering about... Wait, what do you have to say, mister? I just want to get this over with. How can you sit there and say something like that? Man's future's at stake here. Well, him and me both, like I said before. What? I told you already. I'm a day laborer, aren't I? I don't bring home some readies with me tonight. You'll find me floating face down the Thames tomorrow morning. What? You heard me. Mrs. isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me. Another shining example of marital bliss, then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, He's quiet now. You know, it's funny. I can't quite remember. Sorry? It's too frightening. That's the thing. Must have blocked it out. Edible. I wonder if Mr. Beat will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf. Don't even go there, Miss Susato. There's some way to jog his memory about this. Yeah, winter house fires are dire. You have to open the window for the smoke. You get chilly. The chill gets you, see. Okay. Maybe? I mean... I feel like I should put her against the day worker, but I don't know if that would actually work. Don't...
Hold it!
Okay, well, we'll see what this counts. But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what difference does it make? Every possibility that the 4th book perhaps belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's part I have a problem with. Sorry? Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said. Not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were something else. Oh. The fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. I think that's what you call a strong alibi. So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it. It only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it? I suppose it is, since I have nothing witty left to say. Okay. I don't know if this will work. Give it a shot. I feel like I need more help. I feel like maybe you and because it's opening. Yeah, okay, let's see if this works.
Hold it!
Yeah, no, that didn't work. Okay. Let's just load that, because that'll be faster. What to do to get Mr. himself? Window open. Throwing books. The woman was throwing books. Well, lady throwing things. Would it be his wife throwing things? Is it you two? Say this.
Objection! Hold it!
Yeah, no, that didn't work either. I'm trying to think this through. I'm not doing a very good job of it. I talked to everyone already. Do I need to talk to people again who's changed their dialogue? Is that it? So I hit you two. Just to find evidence of the scene. Okay, well, I'll talk to you again.
Hold it!
My other attempts are not working, so let's try something else. The point where the victim was attacked on Briar Road. You know, there was a small house fire in the Garideb household on the opposite side of the street. Oh yes, it certainly seems that way. And on account of the smoke, I imagine they would have had the windows wide open in spite of the cold. Oh yeah, and she's gone. We also know that Mrs. Garideb was throwing flaming books at her husband. Her husband was backed into a corner by the window due to his wife's frenzied attack. Yes, that's right. So there's definitely a chance that one of the books could have flown past the man and out the window. Only what? Only I can't really see how it would gone all the way over to the other side of the road, that's all. Ah. So I don't really see how I can change my decision, really. Oh, I see. Isn't enough? What's it going to take to persuade these people? Okay.
Hold it!
See you again. The fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. The title of the book is The Lion's Pride. Same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garideb told us he had been reading. Why are you so surprised? Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you've come to mention it, yes? He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on. As well you know. I really don't. I barely noticed I was throwing a book.
Oh boy!
Much less the title of it. Right. No, you don't get to hassle each other. Go. My cats are being annoying. Okay.
me!
Okay, he remembered. What is it, juror number 5? Jeez, that face. You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I blocked out. Ah. It was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought it all flooding back. Who are you calling granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Garrydeb, or the maid, I'll have you know. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work, like. I put my hand in my pocket for wages I'd just earned that day and nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster. You haven't heard the half of it, boy. Oh? The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. Lost the day's wages, love. God, kitties are just trying. They really are. One's trying to claw at my desk and the other one's trying to hassle the kitty that's sleeping on the pillow. I'm like, don't hassle the sleeping cat. Just because you want to sleep on the pillow doesn't mean you get to push the other cat off it. She is quite... I'm surprised, honestly, you're still asleep, given how loud I'm being, but cats be cats, I suppose. Okay. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me, it did. About an inch deep. Gosh! No words. Just terror. Ryunosuke is just... Oh my... oh my kami. I could smell it then, you know. God-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was gonna end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, it's a real disaster, isn't it? I'll never use the word lightly again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. Naruhodo, must think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. Oh no, I wasn't thinking that. Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor. Use a bow or the like. But attack? Who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words. They're rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later. If I dare. Woman in rage will hurl almost anything at you. The kitchen knife really brought that home to me. Should I talk to him?
Hold it!
Guess I will. Your wife really threw a kitchen knife at you. That's right. Chopping up meat with it. Got a tidy edge on it, believe me. Still, all memories, isn't it? Started with that smile she threw me when we were courting. And since then, the list of things she's thrown at me has grown along with our relationship. There's a cup, then a glass, then a pot, kettle, chair, wardrobe, cooker, a bathtub? What do you mean bathtub? Gosh, you married a strong woman. Your bathtubs back in the day are going to be, I mean, unless you're meaning like basin one, but like a cast iron bathtub kind of thing? Gosh, lady got an arm. Unless it's, what are they called? They're like functionally really big buckets that are wide, but yeah, I'm not sure what you would call it. Your wife must be even beefier than you. Things came to a head last week when she threw me right into the Thames. Still, not so bad when she's calmed down. A little sweetheart, really. I'm so happy for you. You want to know what I think? I think this whole idea of ladies first that we're so obsessed with in this country was thought up by some clever lads who've been tossed in the Thames a few many times by their wives. That's a very interesting theory. Terrible thought. On the face of it, your statement just sounds like a really extreme anecdote. I think it might turn out to be an extremely powerful weapon. A weapon I might be able to use to make jurors accept an alternative explanation here. Okay. I don't know. I think that's telling me, I should say that in case this is wrong, because then it'll be quicker just to not just load. Oop, I hit one more time. Hit you. And I guess it's game is telling me I have figured out enough that I should be able to do this.
Objection!
Okay, yeah, that worked. Good. Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection. He changes dialogue! Good grief. You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, Consul, at once. Turn number 2. Do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, what do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? You've demonstrated that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garideb's room, on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garideb household to the street below. Eh? What's that now? After all, Mrs. Garideb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole? I'm beginning to think that, ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she had a feeling this might be what happened. Now you listen here, you English gala. As the foreman of this journey, I demand a straight answer. You gave us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What was it? I'm really taking a big gamble here. A bold accusation to make. I haven't any real evidence to back it up. I am certain. At the very least, this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman. Try to explain the defense's theory. The object that found its way from the Garideb household to the scene of the crime was a jackknife.
Take that!
Ooh, music's cutting out. Juror number 4, Miss Garideb. What? What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Ah! Good lord, Counsel. What on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged in the victim's back, man. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garideb were in throes of an argument. People, I'll not ask if anyone wants to climb that. Jack and the Beanstalk! Well, we have a jackknife. But we don't have hello. We don't have proper beanpole. I too always think of that story when I hear the word beanpole. I'm just like the one the kid climbed up to go get the golden goose from the giant. Okay. Mrs. Garideb was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene. Can't seriously believe that. The book was found in the victim's grasp. Are you saying that it flew out of the window across the street to land neatly in her hand? Huh? Even my missus hasn't got a name like that. Yes, I admit, there are many details we don't yet understand. That's the point. Precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Am I? Ah! This is Garideb, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, Ah! Apparently it's a yes. Oh, she fell. My lord! I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madame. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions. Mr. Foreman. I'd have to agree. But I think the granny didn't mind. Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this. Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. All together now, ladies and gents. How annoyed is Van Zeeks right now? We did it. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo. So, as a result of the defendant's sub-nation examination, the number of jurors' leanings have changed. The jurors called guilty against 4, now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. This trial will continue. Okay. Yay! How annoyed are you, Van Zeeks? Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? Discount Vampire loses again? Why do I get the feeling I should... I don't know. Wait, I do? No, I don't. I'm just thinking. Oh, he's pouring himself a glass of wine. Are you gonna eat that? This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Took a sip. Like a corked wine. First few sips are bitter enough. And there it goes. I was waiting for that. What follows is so repugnant. It's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, the defense has put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense argument is a joke, to which I barely know how to respond. But let me start by insisting you must all familiarize yourself better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? It's angled this time. It'd already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garideb household, there's a rather wide street, or a road. Which means that the distance from the Garideb's house is seen as some, yes, 15 yards. Let me see, 15 yards. That's around 14 meters. 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I'd imagined. And, as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted, as having portentous significance, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book, wantonly hurled by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards, and landed on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. I mean, not necessarily. She could have picked it up. People can pick things up, you know, Van Zeeks. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? No. I'm not saying she had the book at the time. I'm not saying she didn't pick it up. And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. That's because they're based on reality. Ben Zeeks, you're a very rude, goofy man. He's so silly, but he's also very rude. Hello. There's nothing I can say to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Doofus is so full of himself. I mean, for fairly good reason. He's no slouch in this, but I'm also like... He's like, you dare say she, like, caught the book? I'm like... I don't think anyone said that except for you. She could have picked the book up. I mean, for crying out loud. If something... People can tell things come flying by, and it's like, what was that? And you look down, and you see a book. You lean down, you pick it up. I mean, for crying out loud, for all we know, she could have been in the middle of picking up the darn book and then got nailed in the back. I mean, for crying out loud. Is it really hard to conceptualize that? Also, yes, he really does like the sound of his own voice, and I say that when I'm doing his voice. That sounds really silly. I'm definitely not his voice actor, that's for sure. Ooh, oh gosh. More yawns. This Susato. Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he? Susato... Like any good fan of anything, Susato takes offense when it's spoken lowly of. Relatable. Very relatable. Maybe let's pick our battles here. Lord, would I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes? Go ahead. Prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. Yay, Susato with more bite! The fangirl has been activated, watch out. And she's not afraid to flip people over the shoulder. Again, I mentioned this, I think, maybe in the very last stream I did. What number would that be? Part 11? That just, I would love to see Susato flip Van Zeeks over her shoulder. I think that imagery would be hilarious. Because she's 16 and he's, what was it, 32? I have him in my thing. I think he's 32. Let me check. Make sure. Yeah, he's 32. I would love to see the 16-year-old yeet the 32-year-old. I think that would be hilarious. To that end... Oh, she looks so sad. Juror number 4. Miss Jean Garadeb must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. It's alive! Cross-examination of a juror? Oh my goodness. Order, order, order! Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
Oh gosh. Goodbye, bottle. You know, people gotta know he does that. There's gotta be someone behind him one of these days with like a pillow, and they just catch the bottle of wine in the pillow or like blanket or something. I mean, That's gotta be pretty expensive wine. If I was managed to get up there right behind Van Zeek's, I'd be there with a pillow and a blanket trying to catch those suckers. I'd be like, I'm selling this off. It's good wine. But maybe that's just me. I'm just saying. Okay. Ooh. Goodness me. Sorry for all the odds. Evidently, I'm getting sleepy. This is that time of the day, after all. I get sleepy. Okay. And unnecessary. Lord Van Zeeks. There are already witnesses in the stand, whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. When learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it. Both a burning book and a jackknife then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly. What say you, witnesses? She's ready to go. Oh, it's Rolly. Hi. Bakey bakey. Yes, sir. Constable Royally... Yeah. Yes, sir. Constable Royally Beat. Reporting for duty, sir. Oh, there goes their music again. Well... Good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain whose appearance on my beats. Appeared on my beats, sir. Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies. Oh gosh, how was it? Partitia, my darling. I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Rolly, my hero. You make me swoon. Very well. I hereby reject the defense request. Oh. And order the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense alternative explanation of events. Yes, sir. So... I'm gonna end it here, and I'm also gonna put it on this menu so I don't accidentally skip through dialogue. But I think that's gonna be a good spot to end it on. Funny, we started the stream with a witness testimony of these two, and we're ending the stream with a witness testimony of these two. That's oddly fitting. It has come round full circle. Cliffhanger, oh my. I'm sorry, there's just gonna be cliffhangers. It's the nature of the beast. But jeez. Good stretch. But we'll have to wait till Friday to continue more of this. I, for one, am excited for Tuesday and Thursday because I am very, very much looking forward to playing another code. Because, yeah, that's gonna be tomorrow's stream as of recording this live. If you watch the VOD the day of too, it's gonna be tomorrow in all likelihood as well. Well, maybe not. I do live in the Pacific time zone, and that tends to be behind everyone, so... You know what? I'm not even gonna try to do all those conversions. That's... just the thought of it's making my head spin a little. Probably best not to try. At least not without, like, a chart and all that, but anyway. Neither here nor there. In any case, it is the end of this stream, and I am enjoying this case. Piecing it together, even though I'm having a bit of trouble. A bit of trouble with the words, certainly, for this stream. I am trying my best, though. Hopefully I am succeeding to some degree. And I would appreciate if you do think I'm doing a good job to leave a like or a comment on the video, if you don't mind. You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm not going to force anybody. But I would appreciate it. Especially comments if you have a specific thing to say. It's nice to hear from y'all. And also, if you have been liking my content, or at least want to see further how this, like, the Great Ace Attorney plays out, I will be uploading more videos and all that. And also, I guess if you are interested in another code, I have one stream of it, so it's easy enough to catch up. I don't usually stream for much more than 2 or 3 hours. Actually, I don't think... I have exactly one stream, I think, that goes over 3 hours. But yeah, they're pretty short, so if you're curious about another code, it's another mystery-solving visual novel sort of thing, feel free to subscribe so you can see the story. If you're any sort of interested, I would also highly recommend purchasing your own copy because it's pretty good. It is a remake of an older game that I've played, so I can definitely say, despite not having played Another Code Recollection to its fullest, it is good. It's very charming. So I am definitely looking forward to that to tomorrow. I'm definitely also looking forward to getting further into this case, because I think Friday should be pretty interesting. Because should be getting into getting what actually happened by Friday. Because obviously this is not so straightforward of a case as people were led to believe. So that'll be fun to see. And yes, the next case. It's case 5, well, episode 5, because it's called episodes. Episode 5 should be pretty interesting as well from the get-go. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in The Great Ace Attorney, so if you want to stick around and listen to that. Also, I feel like today I wasn't the best with my voices, but I think I did okay. My throat, like I was stating in the beginning of the stream, got all scraggly, and I'm like, ah. I hate it when that happens. It happens from time to time, but nothing much I can do about it. But anyway, I shall leave it here, and I hope you all watching had a good time, whether it was live or on the VOD, because for now, I must bid you adieu with a fond little bye-bye, and I hope to see you another time.